I'm Mark.
I'm Josh.
And this is Alter Ego Comics TV for the week of Star Wars. For the week of December 16th, 2015, the week that Star Wars The Force Awakens opens. Sadly, we're still a day ahead of that, but by the time you see this, we will have seen it, and our heads may have exploded. So, decent week for comics. We're heading towards the Christmas holiday, and not a whole lot of material is coming out as we kind of ramp up towards Christmas. But definitely some high points that we think you should be aware of, some of the best comics that you can choose this week. My pick is Superman American Alien number 2 of 7. This is a 7-issue miniseries written by Max Landis with a rotating art crew, a different artist per issue. This issue's art is by Tommy Lee Edwards. And I gotta say, I wasn't all that impressed with the first issue of American Alien, and was kind of pleased to hear that each issue is really designed to stand on its own. Each issue is a story of Clark Kent's life. I believe it's prior to donning the costume.
I would assume.
So basically we're getting about a junior, senior, and high school aged Clark who has to make some really tough decisions in this. This is a very serious comic. I know in the first issue in the back, Landis talked about what to expect in each of those issues, and I don't remember honestly which was which. So there's one that will make you cry, one that will make you laugh, one that will make you poop your pants. I don't remember. But this one is very dark and gritty, and I think Tommy Lee Edwards' art fits it perfectly. Haven't seen a lot from Edwards lately. I was impressed by his stuff several years ago. He did Marvel 1985 with Mark Miller, which is kind of an underrated Marvel gem, in my opinion. And also did that Vampire Gangsters story that I can't remember anything about.
I remember the story. I can't remember
I think
what
it's in my shelf. I got it signed by him at a show. So, if you want to read kind of a really serious high school age Clark Kent unleashing his powers on some people, this is the book for you. And I really enjoyed it. I loved the whole thing. Loved the art, loved the writing, loved the tone. There's some great interplay between Clark and Martha Kent towards the end of the book. Just really, really good stuff. In a world where we don't have a ton of quality Superman content, kind of the way Batman is the flip side. We have a lot of great Batman stories that are being told. Superman, a lot of current fans or longtime fans aren't really pleased with the state of Superman, and I think that this will please both new readers and longtime fans alike.
From DC, we've got We Are Robin number 7. This is part 4 of Robin War. And this comic is exactly what I wanted Robin War to be. If you've been following it all, basically all of the Robins who aren't Dick Grayson have all been captured by people working for the Court of the Owls. And Dick Grayson is teaming up with Batman, Jim Gordon, to investigate who's behind the whole thing. So you get great moments with Gordon and Grayson, and obviously Gordon now knows that Dick was Robin, so they kind of talk about that and about how a policeman deals with the fact that there was a vigilante putting a child at risk every night, and how that affected Gordon and his perception of the world. But also we get to see each of the Robins, and I'm in this case referring to the traditional Robins, Jason and Tim and I guess Damian, along with some of the new characters from We Are Robin. Duke would be the biggest one. And how they interact, how each personality is distinct, but how they're all Robin. And it was just glorious.
So when does Gordon find out that Dick was Robin? Is it this issue?
No. I think Dick confirmed it for him last issue maybe, but Gordon basically said that he had it figured out.
So Gordon knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman.
They didn't say that.
He is a police commissioner.
He's a smart guy.
Who finds out that the ward of billionaire Bruce Wayne is Robin. Connect the dots.
Robin? Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I guess there's kind of that unspoken assumption in the Batman books that Gordon knows that.
Oh yeah, I mean I can't speak.
Batman.
I don't have the background for New 52. I mean it's only a few years old, but in the old universe, I always assumed that Gordon knew and just didn't say anything because saying things would cause more trouble.
Sorry, that just jumped out at me when I'm not reading it, but the fact that Gordon knows that Dick Grayson was Robin, it doesn't take a police detective to figure out that Bruce Wayne is Batman. Anyway. The next two for me, I'm only going to do one at a time here, but the next two are second issues of series that we talked about when the first issue came out, and I'd like to do this just to drive the point home that the second issue is as good, if not better, than the first issue. So first up is Huck by Mark Miller and Raphael Albuquerque. This is the story of a simple man in his 30s who has basically the powers of Superman. And he lives in a very small town, and it does good deeds, and basically he wakes up every day and writes a list of good deeds that he wants to do, and he does them, and lives a very simple life, and the townspeople keep his secret because they love him. So what happens when some strangers come to town and figure out that this guy is essentially a superhero? They sell their story to the highest bidder, and the first issue ended with the media showing up in this guy's front yard. So we get to see what happens next, and we see basically what I think would be a very realistic portrayal of what would happen. You have, of course, the media there shoving microphones in his face and videoing everything, and then you also have people showing up with, my husband's been missing for 5 years, my daughter, got into drugs and we haven't heard from her in several years, my cat is stuck in a tree, all kinds of stuff that they want this guy to help them with, and being the kind-hearted soul that he is, he takes on these assignments, and they don't always turn out the way that the family members maybe want them to. But we also learn that there may be more to his story. Some elements are revealed in this. So I'm really enjoying Huck. Miller just has he has his finger on the pulse of humanity, I think, to some degree. He tells these really human stories involving people with superpowers. And the dialogue is always great, and it's very fast-paced, very easy read. It's for people like me. I don't want to read, an incredibly wordy comic. I don't want to read something that I need a PhD in astrophysics to understand. And this is not one of those things. It's a story for simple people about a simple man.
Yeah, I think on a fundamental level, every Mark Miller story, or at least every good Mark Miller story, is a what if. What if Superman landed in the USSR instead of the US? What if Superman never left Smallville? And so his concepts are amazing.
Yeah. What if James Bond was cool? Well, cooler. What if Mark Hamill got kidnapped by Samuel L. Jackson? Anyway.
Next up for me, we've got tailing out of the end of Secret Wars. We've got Ultimate End number 5, written by the awesome team of Mark Bagley. Written by Brian Michael Bendis, drawn by Mark Bagley.
They switched for this
issue, apparently.
Bendis is
I don't know,
artist.
those last several pages are
mostly blank.
But this is the end of the Ultimate Universe. And Ultimate End is really one of the books in Secret Wars, the tie-ins that I felt had the most impact on the characters we care about. But the true heart of this is seeing characters from both universes, and basically they know what's going on. They know they've been duped by Doom. And they're trying to step up and decide, knowing not everybody's going to come back from this, and face the end of the world, and what do our beloved characters do when the world's ending. And I thought it was touching, and it also, at the end of the issue, gives us a transition past Secret Wars into the forthcoming Miles Morales series, which shows us sort of the status quo for that book, which may not be exactly what you expect.
And look for the Miles Morales Spider-Man series in February. And I'm also going to name my new band Duped by Doom. I wonder if Dupe has anything
2 O's, yeah.
Yes. The final pick for me this week, another number 2 issue, this one from Boom Studios. This is Klaus, number 2. I guess we just say Claus.
It probably could just be Klaus.
Because I don't know, Klaus! I have to say Klaus with a German accent, or sound like Austria and sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Grant Morrison writing, Dan Mora penciling. This is Santa Claus Year 1, and it is awesome. 6-issue miniseries. You should get it. Very timely with the holidays being here, but the artwork is excellent, the story is good. This is digestible Grant Morrison for me. We were talking about Mark Miller earlier in the way that he writes. He writes for the everyman. Grant Morrison sometimes writes for the super genius, and this is very much accessible to people like me, to everyone. So check out Klaus, or Klaus.
Number 2. Last up for me, and my pick of the week, we've got Dragon Age Mage Killer number 1. This is set in the universe from the Dragon Age video games, but you don't need to know anything about them. It's a very cool sword and sorcery sort of setting. And it's written by Greg Rucka, one of our favorite writers, and drawn by Carmen Carnero. And this is a story of essentially guns for hire who specifically hunt down mages. and it's told in a first-person point of view by one of the team members, and it really plays to Rucka's strengths with subterfuge and strong female leads and witty dialogue, and it's just awesome. If you like swords and sorcery, if you like Game of Thrones with political machinations and people being moved around, this is for you. It is, and obviously if you like the video games, it is for you. It is a lot of fun, and I'm just thrilled to see quality licensed comics again. And as an addendum to that, another number one on the stands this week, we've got Lucifer number one, written by Karen Black? Someone Black. Written by Holly Black, with art by Lee Garbet. And, is that how you say it? Garbett?
Either, I would say Garbett.
Okay. Too many T's for Garbet. Anyway, and this picks up directly, well, more or less directly from the end of the Lucifer series, long running with Mike Carey, classic spun off from Sandman. And this brings you into the current continuity. Lucifer is back on Earth and back in LA. And it's probably no coincidence that there's a Lucifer TV show coming from, is it Fox?
Yes.
Coming from Fox in January. Mm-hmm. And so if you are not familiar with Lucifer and want to check it out, this is the place where you can pick it up and get in at the ground floor of a story. There's a little bit of back matter stuff, but you don't really need to worry about it. You can pretty much just follow what's going on from here. And then if you enjoy it, you can go back and check out the original Mike Carey Lucifer stuff, which is awesome.
And since it is Star Wars week, I do want to give an honorable mention to Star Wars Infinities, which is out this week. That's what I was looking for when you were talking. It's part of Marvel's Epic Collections. Infinities is basically What If meets Star Wars. So what if one tiny thing changed within the Star Wars movies?
I think the first one is what if the Death Star didn't blow up when Luke fired the missile?
I honestly don't remember. It's been years since I've read
these.
So
then Luke's gone for the whole... Yeah, so each story, even though it's Infinities Star Wars, Infinities Empire, Infinities Jedi, each one is a whole sort of what if universe. So it starts, what if Star Wars is what if this one thing changes, and then it shows you the whole thing through Jedi and Empire.
Right, so 3 separate stories that are not linked.
Right. But each one was a super cool mini.
These are must-haves, originally published by Dark Horse probably 15 years ago.
Maybe, yeah.
Something like that.
But the trade also, because it's awesome, includes all 9 issues, 0 through 8, of the Lucas draft.
It does?
It does. The art on the cover is the Lucas draft, dude. Yeah,
Why didn't anybody tell me this? Okay, now you really need to get it, because the Lucas draft has been out of print
since
Dark Horse lost the Star Wars license, and we've had several people come in looking for it. So now it's available in part of the Infinities Epic Collection from Marvel. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. I love awesome comics that we can keep on our shelves for a very long time. Okay, that's it. We're going to try and make it through the day without stumbling over any spoilers for Star Wars. We're gonna go radio dark and not pay any attention to the internet today.
Unplug the internet.
We got under 36 hours to go as we record this. So may the Force be with you. We'll see you next time.